From man to woman, on the path to one's true self in a 911.
I bought more cars, more Porsche cars as a woman than I ever bought as a man.
On the courageous journey Antonia is on, it was the Porsche 911 that played and still plays a crucial role.
For me, being able to be Antonia and to get in my Porsche, it was just another step on my journey to fully authenticate my life.
A transgender story with a happily ever after, filled with pride and self-awareness.
Dream big, dream out of the box. Everything and anything is possible. But above all, love is the most powerful thing.
I love driving. I love driving Porsches. I love driving my 911s.
I confront gender stereotypes.
The Porsche I see as very gender diverse. Maybe I'm more Porsche than just owning Porsche cars.
Parked in front of her house in Putnam to the south of London stand Porsche 911s of every epoch. Currently, there are more than half a dozen. To Antonia, the Porsche 911 is a timeless machine built for eternity.
Porsches can last easily 50 years, if not even longer. Maybe God drives a 911. We don't know. At the end of the day, they're an automobile, aren't they? I mean, they are a car, but just one of the best cars. So that's me as a young boy.
She bought her first Porsche 911 as a man named Antonia Belcher.
Could have had my first Porsche then. So at a young age, I sort of thought, I'm not really a boy. And I tried to lock away who I really was. I realized that the best way to keep it locked away was to keep myself really busy. And through working hard, I got promotion, all the trappings of a successful life. Met a lovely girl, married her, had children. I was doing all the things that I thought society wanted me to do.
And so Antonia Belcher found himself heading a huge real estate firm.
And I was really successful, and therefore I had lots of people doing all the work. And I just had time to think about it, and I started to think about this person, this being that I'd locked away. And I realized that person wanted life and wanted to do things. So then I led this second life for 5 years.
Thus began a double life. From Monday to Friday, she lived in London. On weekends with the family, and when at the office, life continued as Anthony. But on weekends, having dressed as a woman, she mingled with people as Antonia.
And when I was going out in the evening as Antonia, I did go out in my Porsches, yes. For me, being able to be Antonia and to get in my Porsche, it was just another step on my journey to fully authenticate my life. I felt great. I felt alive, and that was part of my double life, was being able to be Antonia, and I was growing into that person and becoming that person.
In 2003 came the decision to finally transition through gender reassignment surgery. And the family, comprising 3 children and wife Andrea, were suddenly confronted with a new reality.
What have you been doing out there?
And for her, it was, total shock and Armageddon. It was a long journey, obviously a couple of years, there was lots of things going on, but ultimately she said to me that Tony with a Y, Tony with a Y, had died, and she'd mourned his death. But there's this other Tony with an I, that's still here and still in my life. And I'd really like us to stay together. And that's how it really happens.
You hate it.
As far as problems go, there's just one.
Sports cars really aren't my thing. I'm not a speed freak, I don't like speed.
That's why, when mashing the pedal in her Porsches, Antonia is usually alone.
She doesn't like driving though, so even when we're in her car, I end up driving. I enjoy driving fast. I belong to a ladies' Porsche club. The Porsche I see as very gender diverse. There's lots of things about me which I have wanted to change in transitioning, and in a way I bought more Porsche cars as a woman than I ever bought as a man.
A woman who really loves the experience of driving Porsche 911s.
Being in command of a vehicle that you know is going to do exactly what you tell it to do. From a handling point of view, you can understand what the car is trying to do. There's a lot going on that just makes you as a driver a much better driver.
It was in 1963 that Ferry Porsche, along with sons Ferdinand Alexander and Wolfgang, got the first ever 911 out onto the streets. Since then, for 60 long years, the car has developed further, but its basic DNA has remained unchanged. The coupe-like shape and rear-wheel drive, paired with a heartwarming 6-cylinder boxer engine. But Antonia's beloved Porsches were at risk when she decided to come out into the male-dominated real estate world as a woman.
I had the total risk of losing my job. Had I had to lose it all, then I would have lost it all. So it was important to be the true me. We only have one life. It's not a dress rehearsal, in my opinion, and I wanted to live the rest of my life as the true me.
As a well-connected top-level manager, Antonia was already too important to simply be fired. But the decision was made to found a new company and set out as a woman in the real estate industry. And the entire team from her old company chose to follow her. Antonia's professional success motivated her to campaign for the fair treatment of trans people in society, for which, in 2022, she was awarded the Order of the British Empire.
Obviously, I was very nervous. I had to learn to curtsy, and I'd never curtsied before in my life. And that was a bit of a challenge, making sure I didn't make a mess of it in front of the king. It's nice that the royal family recognise it. At the moment, our politics are less accepting, but certainly it's lovely to see the royal family doing this. So it gives me strength that we need to carry on.
Antonia also founded the GiveOut Foundation with Elliot Vaughan. The aim is to support trans people, especially in countries where being trans is still taboo, and where the fight for trans rights is still ongoing. They've already collected more than 100,000 euros in donations, and thus contributed to trans causes around the world.
I've been privileged because when you're senior in your business, you can influence change much easier than if you're not. I'd also want to help the world understand the discrimination or the hate or the bullying is largely because people don't understand. They fear who we are. I mean, we're no different to everyone else, and they should have no fear.
Antonia has just the most unique way of connecting. And I would say even car club members coming along and being part of the discussion and saying, look, I don't really know much about this, but I really know Antonia well, and I really want to support this.
Antonia also uses many car and vintage car events to draw attention to the Transgender Foundation. She feels most comfortable among Porsche fans, the community, with a very special philosophy.
Maybe I'm more Porsche than just owning Porsche cars. A work in progress. I think it's persistence, isn't it? If you want to do something, it's a bit like me. If you want to be who you know you are, then it's persistence. It's keep going, refining and improving and getting there.
Antonia Belcher, a trans woman whose overwhelming love for the Porsche 911 helps her fight with passion against stereotypes, defy conventions, and in the end, stay true to her authentic self. Someone who loves pushing the limit and zooming past boundaries. preferably behind the wheel of her Porsche 911. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below.